So today we're going to talk about solving absolute value equations. If you looked at the last video, then you know that the absolute value of something is the distance that it is from 0. So in this particular equation, 3x plus 2 is 7 spaces from 0. That means 3x plus 2 must either be 7 or negative 7, because negative 7 is also 7 spaces from 0. So the first thing that we do is we rewrite this as two different equations. So our first equation is going to be 3x plus 2 equals 7. So it's the same exact equation. We've dropped the absolute value signs. And then 3x plus 2, the same thing inside the absolute value signs, equals negative 7. Okay, so we have our two equations, and then we solve those. So to solve them, of course, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So we have 3x equals 5, and then we're going to divide by 3. So x equals 5/3. Also, we're going to look at the other equation. We're going to say negative 2. Again, subtract 2 from both sides. So 3x equals negative 9. And then divide by 3. So x equals negative 3. So in this case, we have two solutions. Either x equals 5/3 or x equals negative 3. Okay? Next example is a little bit harder. So we're going to look at 2 times the absolute value of 3x minus 1 plus 5 equals 33. In order to do this one appropriately, we want to gather all absolute value items on one side of the equation and everything else to the other. So pretend that our absolute value is a variable, and how would we isolate that variable? The first thing we do is subtract 5. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So we're left with 2 times the absolute value of 3x minus 1 equals 28. And then we're going to divide by 2. So that eliminates everything except the absolute value things from that side of the equation. Sorry, that should be a negative. Equals 14. At this point, we're going to make two equations. So we have 3x minus 1 equals 14, and we have 3x minus 1 equals negative 14. Okay? And then to solve this, add 1 to both sides, so 3x equals 15, and we get x equals 5 by dividing by 3. We're going to add 1 to both sides, so we get 3x equals negative 13, and divide by 3, so x equals negative 13/3. So those are our solutions. Again, it could be either or. If you write the solution in combined form, you would write it as x equals 5 and negative 13/3. Whoops. Okay. At the very bottom today, we have another thing we can think about. If you ever come across an absolute value equation that looks like this, negative 3x plus 7 absolute value equals negative 2. What do you think there? Can the absolute value of 3x plus 7 equals negative 2? Actually, no, because remember, when you take the absolute value of any number or any expression, it has to be positive. So right off the bat, you can see that this is no solution. Okay? There are no solutions that make the absolute value of the quantity 3x plus 7 equal to a negative number. It always has to be positive. Therefore, that one is no solution.